She like doing it. She like talking with me.
But he's verbalizing that.
It's all in my head.
He just gets quiet, and then his responses an hour later are just real short about things that have nothing to do with the podcast. Because in my mind, I was like, he heard or whatever else. And then an hour later, he's like, I don't think you even want to do this. Like he had stewed on it in his head.
Down low. We're better than that. All right. It's flashing. It's recording.
Who knows what's going to come out of my mouth?
That's why I have it going.
It's snowing in northern Indiana.
Don't be dumb. So for 2021 for our family.
Well, this is really hard to say in the mid as a parent.
No, it's not as easy.
I'm a mom, you're a dad.
When you have kids, you're never alone. Don't waste your parenting experience by feeling guilty and bad about yourself sometimes. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Parenting is hard. That's it. Hey. All right, now I think we're good.
Oh, okay.
Now we're good.
Clearly, you're the technical one on all of this. I just show up and sit here.
And the sound and the lights and the everything.
This isn't the natural lighting in our living room.
No, these are cheap studio lights that I got on Amazon. So
oh, perfect. I should use those for my Zoom calls. So
yeah, I thought you did one time.
Only when I was interviewing. Now they know me. It's like I barely comb my hair.
It's kind of like a dating relationship. It's your best foot forward.
And then you meet me in person and you're like, oh, you're a lot older or whatever than I thought.
You're like, oh. No, I mean, oh, hi.
They're like, wait, who are you?
Oh, my goodness.
Probably why the one pastor I work with, every time he doesn't remember me in person.
Because he only sees you on video?
Yeah, so he's like, you look very different on video than in person.
No, you look fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, you're welcome. Hey, and welcome back to the living room sessions.
Yes.
We had a week off, and that alone was a process to figure out a little bit.
We should talk about that.
That'll be the center of the story.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we went to, so this past weekend, no, not even weekend.
No, midweek. Midweek on the mountain.
Midweek, the Liberty had another home football game.
Yep.
And so we just wanted to go, attend, see both Morgan and Carter.
Yes, we have photo evidence this time.
Correct. And not just of Morgan, as Carter likes to say. Oh, they're back to see Morgan. No, we're back to see both you guys. Like
that just makes him feel better that he doesn't have to hang out with us the whole time. Like he has plans and he
that is true.
Feel like he has to, which is a good thing.
It's a great thing. We don't want him to like feel like he's locked in and locked down. To, like anytime parents come, you got to hang with mom and dad. That's
another tangent on our tangent, though.
Yeah,
we really should have bought a house or a condo or something in Lynchburg like
20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
But at a minimum, like 3 years ago.
For sure.
If we knew both kids were going there, then.
Correct. Because then we could have renovated it for a little bit, but Airbnb'd it out.
Right.
We're not there.
But we're giving Hilton a lot of money.
It's stupid. We're just like, just stupid. Like we're not even.
Hilton not sponsored, but we would.
So if you have kids and they both go to the same college, prepare ahead of time, buy a place, and then rent it out, and you'll make your money.
So I have a friend that did that, and they their kids now live in it off campus.
That's perfect.
And so the first year they let them live on campus, and then after that they live in there. But then they have a place to stay every time they go too. So
well, that's great. I mean, they're smarter than we are,
right?
For sure.
But anyway, back to what started all this off. We missed last week.
We did, not on purpose, kind of on purpose. Not on purpose.
We have different expectations, and that will lead to the topic for today.
Different expectations is probably different spoken expectations where like they're different, but I don't speak mine. And so it creates problems, or what we like to say, confrontation, argument,
conflict. But it wasn't really serious conflict.
No, I mean,
Some frustration.
well, for sure. Because here's my expectation for the living room sessions.
Yes.
And it's probably just fits my personality. And I just want to put one out every single week.
You go
Every
all in.
day.
I don't mean this bad, but you're all, or I don't want to do it anymore.
Well, I'm
running with the podcast.
Breaking news. I'm still running.
Yes.
So that's good.
Because you're all
6
in.
or 8 weeks in.
Right.
Shin splints. If you guys know about shin splints, let me know. Because I'm having them both legs.
Anybody that likes order is probably like
and off
right now. Guess we're boop, 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 all over.
No, so yeah, anything that I do, like I'm like all in. I'm researching it. I'm putting it together. Like I'm thinking about it, like either nonstop or I'm in the middle of thinking about something else, and I think about that thing. And so, yeah, expectations and conflict.
So you want to do this podcast weekly? I did ask you though, how often do you want to do this? And rather than express your desire to do it weekly, you said, I don't care, whatever. Like you seemed real chill about it.
Because that's the thing. I, in reality, am not that chill. I'm pretty like rambunctious and like, I bounce off of like, I don't necessarily like that about myself. I like to, like,
you want people to think you're chill.
I actually myself want to be chill. It just doesn't. At 49 years old, I've come to a slow conclusion that's just not my life.
Well, that's what helps you come up with new ideas and stuff all the time too. Like it's actually a strength that you're looking at as negative. But so I ask you, how often do you want to do? Hey, we're traveling.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do about that? How often do you want to record it? And you basically said you didn't care. Like, I don't care. Like, but you did care.
You mean, wait, I said I didn't care when? When did we have that conversation?
In the office. I said, how often do you want to do this?
Like before we got back into it.
Yeah.
Like into the whole.
No. Like we had this conversation last week. I said, how often do you want to do this? Is this a monthly thing? Is this a weekly thing?
This is before we sat on the couch and watched TV.
I don't remember.
Okay. Anyways, go ahead.
Like it doesn't really matter.
Right.
But my point is I asked and your response seemed very relaxed. Like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. What do you think? And I was like, we have to get to the couch part.
That's what I said.
So I'm like, okay, whatever. Cool. Let's do it monthly is what I think.
Yep.
Because I am not the public communicator. Like,
did you say, let's do it monthly to me?
Yes, I did.
There? Yeah. See, that's the other thing is that.
And you didn't say anything.
My brain is like, typically it's like all over the place. And so sometimes when somebody who is like the most important person to me says something, it like reflects off into the stratosphere somewhere. Well,
you're probably thinking of how often you really wanted to do it or how to say that. And I said, what about monthly? And you didn't really say anything. So I was like, okay, cool. Like it didn't feel like it was so urgent.
Yeah. So that's the first mistake that's the first how do I say error on my part is that I didn't say anything. I have strong opinions. So
we're sharing this story because it gets funnier. It wasn't funny at the time, but it's a kind of example of conflict. And then we'll talk about it a little bit. So then maybe the next day we're sitting, it's late, we're watching TV
because we've got, nothing else to do with our life.
I'm playing Candy Crush or one of those.
He's a gamer.
On my phone when I watch TV. And Todd says, hey, you know what I think we should do for living room sessions?
Yeah. Should take it on the road.
And he said, take it on the road. I go, oh, like when we get to, I first said, when we get to Virginia, and you're like, no, in the car. And I go, oh. And I said, in my mind, I was saying, oh, like, I didn't think that's what you were going to say. That I didn't have that idea. You took it as I was like, eh.
Here's how I heard it. And here's how I still think she said it was I said, hey, we should take it on the road. I'm like, I'm excited. I've got ideas. I've got like thoughts. Like this is going to be the best thing ever. Like how I like always am with almost everything. And I heard it. This is how I heard it. I heard her say, oh, and then silence. And immediately within that fraction of a second, I heard the, oh, and I automatically came up with this giant story of like, she doesn't want to do it. Why doesn't she want to do it? Does she like doing it? She like talk with me?
But he's verbalizing that.
It's all in my head.
He just gets quiet. And then his responses an hour later are just real short about things that had nothing to do with the podcast. Because in my mind, I was like, he heard or whatever else. And then an hour later, he's like, I don't think you even want to do this. Like he had stewed on it in his head for a whole TV show, probably.
Yeah, and that show was probably an hour long.
And then he's like, I don't think we want to do it at all.
I like, forget it. You don't need to do it. Like, it's fine. We get started and then we stop and we don't do it. And you know what? I think it's because you don't want to do it. And so, like, you know what? Let's just not do it. Forget it. Like, we're done. Whatever.
So I'm like, that's seriously not at all what I meant. And so what happens in a moment like that when we have set expectations?
Really unspoken expectations, right?
Yeah. Unspoken expectations of the other person. When we get to this point, up until this point, there really wasn't conflict. When we get to this point, we have choices to make in it. And what I tend to do, and this is not good, is I want you to understand my heart behind it. So I over communicate it in every way I can. And I circle the wagon to try to convince you that that's not at all what I intended. But I really can't change your mind in that moment.
Not in that moment, because in that moment,
you already sat for an hour.
I heard what I heard, and I've got this like I've already convinced myself like that you don't like doing it, you don't want to do it. Talking about the podcast, and and you know what? There's no reason to talk about it. And listen, you can say what you thought you said and how you thought you said it, but I know what I heard, and it's like it's not going to change my mind. So keep circling, keep talking in circles. It's not going to work. And so that literally that fast in my head is what's swirling around, and that, my friends, is not healthy.
Well, and we've matured. We don't have conflict figured out. So this is funny. I mean. And conflict's not bad. We can talk about that too. In that moment, I'm doing better about just shutting up and realizing we need to approach this tomorrow. Because if I keep talking, it will actually lead to an argument that has nothing to do with the original thing. Yeah. Because the way when you're feeling
rational,
when you're feeling frustrated, you would rather be quiet, go away with your thoughts, think through it, and not say anything you'll regret because you're feeling frustrated.
Right. I just want to like give me time to like chill. and then I'll come back and then we can talk about it.
But I want to feel better because I can feel the conflict brewing, and I don't like to have, nobody does, but I don't like to have conflict with people. So a lot of people avoid conflict, and that's not what you do, but you'll delay conflict. Maybe
I'll delay the conversation in order to sometimes, not always, pray through what I'm going to talk about, because that's not, I'm not super spiritual. Like, we're not super Christians where that's like our first thought is to, let's just pray about it. Like, sometimes
we want that to be our first thought,
but sometimes,
right.
Like, sometimes that's our first thought. Sometimes it's to pray about it. But also it's just to like, I just need to slow down, get my thoughts together. I need to, and actually just pick apart my own brain and be like, okay, yeah, I'm actually ridiculous. I'm being stupid in this moment. And so I need those quiet moments to be able to come to the conclusion of, for myself, not to have somebody else, not that you would ever do this, but like to say, like, you have at times, but you're being ridiculous. Stop. I need God to convict me to tell me that. I need myself to like come to that conclusion. And then I can come back and be like, you know what? I'm sorry. But
you're more internal process, and then you'll verbal process after you've internally.
For that,
I'm out loud verbal process in the moment.
Yeah,
and so sometimes I say things because I'm working out what I'm trying to say that make it worse, and I just keep talking and I keep digging the hole deeper, and it really wasn't a conflict. Like, in that moment, I actually was quiet, but that's not always how I respond. How I sometimes respond is I keep going, let's talk about this, because I want to feel like we're good relationally. And if I feel like there's anything unsettled there, I want to talk about it till it feels resolved. And you need space. And that time that you need space makes me feel like I I need to fix this. I need this to be better. And it makes it worse. And so that's just how we're wired different. So almost every argument when it gets to that is not even about the original thing anymore. It's about how we communicate.
Right. And it's not even that I need space. It's not like I need my space.
No, you just need.
It's that like I need to slow down because here's what I like. I already know we're good. Like we're gonna have arguments. We've had arguments. We're gonna continue to have arguments. It's not like if you don't have arguments, like I question like, are you really communicating? Number one. So that's a question that I would have. But I know myself like that we're good. Like the argument doesn't mean that we're not good. And so if I know we're good, then I just need time to slow down.
Right.
In that moment.
But the silence to me communicates like, oh no, we got to have this conversation and we need to fix this so I can feel at peace again and move on.
Well,
because most of the time arguments are because of unsaid expectations we have for each other.
Right.
And we don't communicate them and then we feel frustrated. And then so for us, conflict is how we communicate, and we don't always communicate the best because we're wired a lot the same in many areas, but how we communicate interpersonally, I think is a little different.
And I do like to verbally process in other areas of
but not
of my
emotional
life.
stuff.
And so I get that that can be confusing at times because in almost every other area, like I verbally process, throw up, whatever, like it everywhere except emotion, like in the like relational, emotional sphere.
And I'm just curious, like as a kid, did you feel like you couldn't express your emotions, or as a guy you chose not to?
I mean, I don't know that I like the gender sex stereotypes.
I know you hate that.
I actually hate those.
But I'm saying, you looking at yourself as a guy.
Yeah, there
are like guys aren't supposed to be emotional back in the day. Like it's different now, but like when you were growing up, I mean, for a boy to cry, that you might like make fun of each other if you cry.
No, there's you know what I mean? There's like, a definite not age, but like back in the day, like you know, I forget what I'm trying to say here as far as like, yes, growing up there was a tough it out, walk it off, wipe some dirt on it, which is super valuable for kids. Like, right. Because
that's a whole nother episode. We've babied our kids so much. We're now.
But
fighting battles.
Even I think even like emotionally there was, not just for my family specifically, mom and dad, if you watch, just in that
right. In that time of growing up, it was different.
It was like, like I don't know that I ever on TV shows watched guys cry at all.
So you weren't supposed to have those feelings. So rather than communicate about the feelings,
just shut down.
Shut up. You just thought through them and then moved on. But never necessarily
in the unhealthy way. That looks like shutting up and shutting down. And that's I think I've learned that that's not what this is. Like there have been times where it's just like I shut up and shut down, and that's not healthy. Like that's not healthy at all. But more times than not, it's I just need to I need a moment.
When I keep talking and you're trying to mentally process, then you can't think. So it's making it a distraction from you trying to think through it. Yeah, I just keep wanting to process it.
Right, because my brain is already I mean, we've been talking about this with this like running, and then I'm preaching in a couple of weeks, and so I'm constantly thinking about the message that I'm going to give. So I have that luxury of preaching once a month, which is great. What other thing? My brain's, what I'm trying to say is my brain is feels like it's constantly moving and thinking about everything. And so when I'm really trying to slow down and focus, if there's something else going on, in the most respectful way, it inhibits my process of being able to think through the whole thing and then come to a more healthy conclusion of, oh yeah, my wife is for me. This is really a dumb argument, to get hurt feelings over what I perceived she said was really in the scheme of life is really not that big. And so, yeah.
Sometimes if you feel like this therapy now with the Ruth, maybe we should
living room sessions on the couch.
If you feel like my response is one way, and even if you just ask me what was that about or something, then I can,
easy.
no, I'm just saying, because I really, in that moment, I understand it probably communicated something I didn't mean for it to. Because I was really more going, oh, like in my mind, that's not what I was thinking. So then I'm processing his idea in my head. But the silence was like to you, like, I didn't like that idea because you verbalize ideas, but you're quiet about feelings maybe sometimes. You know what I mean? Where I actually might think through my idea, but verbalize my feelings. So that's super interesting. Like, so that times that can create, we can have a misunderstanding, different expectations, but then it can create conflict because we're both being like selfish or stubborn or whatever in the moment. And we both want to feel better. And the way we go at feeling better is different.
Correct. Because selfishly, on the selfish end, like you could use that silence as a weapon against the other person. And that's not at all like the intentions of what I want to do. And so for me, I'm trying to get better to like, okay, like go inward, think about it, pray about it, whatever it looks like, figure my junk out as far as like the misconceptions, and then get back to you quicker. Like, so like in the past, it's taken me like longer to like be quiet and not want to talk about it. And so for me now, it's like, okay, I recognize that Jamie, you need to process, verbally process and talk. And so I try to get back to it a little bit and apologize faster.
Well, I apologize in the moment, but it doesn't always, I'm not saying that I do it perfect. I'm saying I do it in the moment, but it doesn't always feel sincere because you're like, you're just saying that because you're mad right now or whatever. Like we may like, it doesn't feel sincere. I think we were marriage counseling however many years ago. You're given that advice of not going to bed angry. Yeah. Right. Like the whole Bible verse, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Yeah. And I think we take that literal, and I'm not sure that's really what it's meant to do. We shouldn't be living in anger kind of thing. But sometimes the best thing for us to do is actually, especially because sometimes these conflicts start at 11 p.m. We're getting ready for bed. It's the end of the day. We're tired. We're exhausted. Unset expectations. We're frustrated. Yeah. Sometimes the best thing is we actually go to bed. Yeah. And we need to sleep. Yeah. It's hard for me to sleep when there's unresolved conflict. But I also know that sometimes it makes it worse if I keep trying to talk about it at bedtime. And your brain needs to be able to shut down. And
the timing of the argument is also a factor in how we work through things as well. Yeah. And I'm sure there have been so every single night before we go to sleep, we pray together. Right. And I'm trying to think in my head right now of like the times where we've had arguments. Have we like gone to sleep a little frustrated or like in the moment and not prayed before we go to sleep? I'm sure there have been times like that. Yeah. But I think even like more recently, I feel like even in those times, I feel like we still pray.
We do. It might just be short.
It's definitely shorter. God help me not smother her in the middle of the night. Like, but I think even in those moments, while the prayer is still is shorter, I feel like as we've gotten more mature, like we've still prayed together because that's super important. Yeah. And so, I think, all of that. Yeah.
So we talked about this in a previous episode, the verse that we made our whole family memorize a few summers ago.
Yeah, James. Yeah.
For me, that's like something that I need to do better at. Because again, in an effort to feel at peace, I just want to verbalize things. And sometimes I just need to be slow to speak and ask God, like, Jamie, where did you misstep or communicate not in that moment? And I need to process it more rather than rush the communication so I feel better, basically.
Yeah, well, I think that verse in James, quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to be angry. I think part of the quick to listen is for me as I think about it and processing through all of that, quick to listen to the other person, yes. But also I think even bigger and more so is quick to listen to God. Right. Like in that like we take that verse and we're like, okay, I got to be quiet and I need to listen to the other person who's arguing or who's like trying to talk to me or like explain themselves. Yeah. And like that's super helpful. And that's what that verse means. But also I think more importantly, it's being quiet verbally, yes, but also being quiet in our spirit, like quieting our spirit down, our emotions, our mentality down, so that we can hear God more completely.
Yeah, that's good.
And so I think that yeah, we've encouraged our kids to memorize that for a time, and we've memorized it.
Yeah.
And I think there is an aspect of like when we're having arguments or we're talking to each other of, yeah, I just want to get what I have to say out because that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. But I think the quieting part is more helpful when we not only quiet ourselves to the other person, but when we quiet our whole self. The Bible talks about shalom, like that complete peace over our bodies, where we're not angry, we're not trying to be loud and boisterous in what we have to say, but we're more ready to hear what God wants to say, not only to us but through us in those moments.
And I think it's good to have a time to quiet yourself, but I think I think some people will go 3 days without talking to their spouse, and it's more of a not even shutting down, but they're just like, they're angry. So they just don't talk to them. And then they move on. All of a sudden, everything's fine. And they never addressed the conflict. And so I think for me, who wants to address it in the moment, I need to give Todd the space to be able to process it. But we still need to address whatever it is. We can't just move on like nothing happened. That doesn't help us grow from that, learn to communicate better. And we not always. See, it sounds like we have it together.
It's not always and never.
But we tend to resolve it, but some people don't. It's just like there's conflict and enough time goes by and, we're good again. And then, you know what I mean? And so it's like conflict is scary for people. For me, conflict actually makes me feel closer to you. Not that I want to go through that, but after you go through that, then I feel closer to you because it's like we've worked through something hard together.
Right.
Yeah, I was just saying that some people, there'll be conflict and they'll be quiet for a few days and they've resolved it in their head. And sometimes you can't resolve conflict with different people. I get it. But then they just move on. And then it's unresolved conflict that the next time that something like that happens again, it bubbles back up and that next thing becomes bigger than it needs to be because the previous conflict wasn't resolved. And so.
Yeah, no. So it's like, compounding conflict.
Yeah, right.
Where it's like you have the conflict, whatever it looks like, whether it's relational conflict or something with the kids or whatever, and you stuff it all in, like you get back to the point where you're not arguing. Mm-hmm. You get even back to the point where maybe you're where everything looks good and you're laughing and you're having fun but you never really like resolved that conflict. Yeah. And then something else pops up and you have more conflict.
Right.
And because you've never resolved that one conflict, then that second piece of conflict just compounds and then it just.
And then you start hearing you always, you whatever.
Right, you never or whatever.
Because in your head, that's how it feels.
Because in reality, because that's just how it is.
And I get that not every marriage, every relationship, everybody's on the same page. And so there may be situations where people can't resolve the conflict, like whatever. Yeah. But we're only speaking, again, we're not marriage therapists. We are not counselors. We're only speaking from what we've learned over the 26 years.
Are you really?
I always have to go. So we were married in 99. Yep. So I'm like, what year is it? Add 1. But you can't add one until after the anniversary.
Which was in?
July. I know our anniversary.
July what?
31st.
Okay.
I know that. But I'm always like, wait, what time of year is it? Okay.
Yeah.
6 years.
Yep.
All right. So I don't know how old I am half the time either.
Well, that's a whole different story of.
But yeah, those are just a few things we've learned about how we interact with each other. Everybody's different. And I would encourage people, if there's like serious conflict or abusive type conflict, to seek other.
Well, there's definitely advice.
That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, if there's like physical abuse or mental, like sometimes the authorities need to get involved. Like, there's all of that. Or if it's just like or if you're experiencing like just consistent conflict over time, like time after time after time after time, maybe like marriage therapy,
Yeah, right.
with a pastor or meeting with a marriage therapist or whatever.
Or another like mentor couple, somebody who's gone before.
Yeah, that can really just walk alongside you, because really, like, again, we live life in community. And so we're not meant to live alone. And so even in conflict, when we isolate ourselves, that just breeds, that's just a breeding ground of hate and anger and everything else, just to kind of like fuel, as opposed to like if we're in community and we're really helping each other heal, then that's where the Spirit of God can move and really be helpful to those people. So
back to our story.
Yep.
We talked it out. I think we agreed that I may have communicated in a way that unintentionally communicated something different. So you're like, I don't know that I fully believe that. Like we didn't necessarily resolve what we agree about my response to,
No, but it was.
We talked it out. There was nothing more, and you're like, okay, what?
And I trust your heart, but
you're just like, that's not how it felt to me in that moment, and I'm like, well, that's not what I meant. Right. But I didn't necessarily change your mind. It's just more like, okay, I hear you. That's how it felt in the moment. Like, and you have a right to have feelings about how I respond. Yeah,
and it was again, working through the conflict brings us closer, because if you can work through conflict and come out on the other side, like you're more healthy,
right?
Like automatically you're more healthy.
So your idea was that we would actually shoot this living room sessions.
Yep.
Not in the living room, on the go. Yep. From the car while we're driving.
Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic idea.
So my was like meant as But so I'm like, okay, let's do it. And then you were like, no, we don't have to do it. You don't.
I became a juvenile. I was like,
saying that.
I'm saying myself.
You're like, no, we don't have to. I'm like, no, let's do it. I'm
fine. We don't need to do it. We don't need to do it.
But I think sometimes when I don't match your level of enthusiasm for an idea, then you assume I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's fair. That is fair.
But I don't match your enthusiasm for a lot of things. You are much more like you said, ideas all the time, excited about something, all in. I don't match your enthusiasm about running.
Well, that's fine. You don't have to.
Right. But I don't always know what I need to match enthusiasm on and what I don't. So there's that again. So I say, okay, let's do it in the car. And you're like, no, that's okay. And then finally, you're okay, let's do it. Because I said, well, how are we going to, we don't have microphones. How are we going to put the camera up? And you had brought a little tripod thing. So we stop at a gas station. We get it out.
Yeah.
We go to mount it up, and it's not going to work.
It's physically impossible to work. It can't work.
So we're like, oh, we had this little tiff
for no reason.
It didn't even matter. We couldn't do it
physically. We just couldn't. The tripod was too big. The phone was not even. It couldn't even go all the way up, and the phone was hitting the dashboard. Physically, it was impossible to do unless somebody was going to be like holding it.
But let's be honest, those are some bumpy roads. It wouldn't. You guys would have been.
It was a gimbal. It was a gimbal tripod, so that the bumps didn't matter.
Okay, but then
I thought out that. Yes, I thought that far out.
Yeah,
I just didn't plan out the height of that.
I know that you think through it all, but so we didn't end up doing it anyway. So then we were kind of laughing about what we're talking about. What should we talk about in this next episode? Because you have a list, you have plans, but sometimes we want to talk more.
Well, also, it's just fun to be on the fly and just have conversation.
So we started laughing about one of the things on the list was at some point we could talk about conflict. Yeah. I'm like, oh, we have a really great example. Yeah. And so we don't have it all together. And a lot of times we fail at this, but we thought maybe you all could learn from our silly example, because it really is a silly example.
But it's crazy how silly examples, if we were, if we let them become bigger, because a lot of the arguments that blow up and get out of proportion are just dumb.
Right.
In retrospective.
They just fester.
Exactly.
Right, get blown way out of proportion.
And so a lot of times the arguments that seem silly, that are just really stupid, are the ones that just blow up.
Well, and then we can tell ourselves lies, or the enemy can tell us lies related
Yeah.
to that. So you could have like, oh, she doesn't like this. She doesn't. And it can end up being, well, she doesn't like me. She doesn't like my ideas. She doesn't like, you can go down this whole
And then
thing of lies
if you don't,
in your head.
and if you don't
resolve
the conflicts, then that's the compounding effect of like, it just like, then you start having those thoughts of like, oh, she doesn't even like me then.
Right.
She don't like my ideas. She don't like the way I walk.
I don't like your hat.
She don't like my hat wearing backwards. She don't like my face, like my scrub. Like she don't. And so then, but that's the compounding effect of not resolving conflict and argument.
Yeah. So that was our silly but real example. I mean, there was frustration there. We weren't laughing.
No, it was frustrating. Yeah, for sure. It was a real
argument. So it was real. And thankfully it didn't get blown out of, this one did not get blown out of proportion. It didn't turn into a fight.
Yeah.
It was more just, again, unsaid expectations that we have for each other, that kind of thing. And so we were able to talk through it and resolve that. But yeah, so any advice would you give the people who've lasted this long on the podcast listening to our funny, silly story?
Yeah, I mean, in reality, it is kind of like slowing down. And so if you're the person that needs time to like resolve things in your head first before you say something, because you really don't want to say something that you regret, like take that time, like, but don't only take the time to like sulk and to like just replay the conversation in your head over and over again, just to replay it in your head to prove your point. Like actually like really mull it over, think about it, and come to it from a humble place of like, okay, I see where number one, where I went wrong. And number two, I can really like understand her heart. She really didn't mean that, or he didn't mean that. And if he did, then that's a different conversation of like humbly coming to that person and be like, hey, like what was your heart behind? Actually, you come back and like, what was your heart behind that?
Yeah.
And also like, don't use that silence as a moment to just like stay away, to like be away from that person and to use it as a weapon.
Right.
Like actually like come back at a reasonable time to be like, hey, I value this relationship. I love you. Like, let's work through this and let's come back together as a couple, having resolved the conflict, because that's important to not have that compound effect, but to actually resolve it and get to a healthier place. And for me, again, the James chapter 1 of being slow to speak, slow to anger, quick to listen, that is, yeah, sure, quick to listen to other people, but for me, it's more of a like, we need to be quick to listen to what God has to say to us in those moments, in every moment, really.
That's good. So how often are we doing this podcast?
I mean, I want to do it every week.
Okay.
Tuesday, the graphic on our Instagram.
Does it say weekly?
Every Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
Oh, it says every Tuesday?
See, this is what happens. The expectation maybe not have been verbalized, but it's on social media.
Well, and Todd's like, did you not watch it? I'm like, no, I do not want to watch
that's
myself.
fair.
Like, I don't. Do you listen to your messages back from the weekend?
Sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah, that's not, I don't want to, because then I just sit and critique. Look how she's sitting. Look at her hair. She didn't comb her hair before.
You always comb your hair before.
I didn't comb my hair before it.
This one? It looks great.
Yeah, okay, good.
Love it.
It's a little humid out, so it's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, no, it looks great.
So I don't watch it back. I don't.
That's fine.
I give it all, and hopefully there's something that's helpful to other people.
Yes.
If anything, you laughed for at us.
If anything.
Maybe with us.
Yeah. So you asked me in closing in this one, like, what would be like your hope that for somebody to take away?
Well, one, I think we need to normalize that. Like, I think people don't talk about it. Like, you just like don't talk about that there's conflict.
Yeah.
And so one, I think two, just maybe when you're not in a conflict, whether it's your spouse or somebody else, like have the conversation about, like, if you find yourself having the same fights over and over, like having a conversation like this with each other before that happens, so that you're like, have expectations of like, okay, when we're fighting or arguing or disagreeing, like, how can I best help you and how can you help me? And this is like maybe before there's conflict. Like, we tend to not have conflict conversations till we're in the middle of conflict.
Right.
So maybe be more proactive about it. Ask God to help you in that moment. And that's, like you said, it's hard to do sometimes because your emotions are going. You're already living in the flesh. You're angry.
And there is the, like we talk about James chapter 1. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Also, like it's super helpful and beneficial to be in the word every single day.
Yeah, right.
And so when we're not in the word every single day, then that just gives the enemy a chance to like really build up our pride and our selfishness, so that when we get in those arguments, then it becomes all about me or all about you.
Yeah.
And then the argument doesn't come from a healthy place. It comes from a selfish place. And so, yeah, being in reading scripture every single day and letting it transform your thoughts when we're not in argument, so that when the conflict comes, then we've already been built up in God's word, and it becomes hopefully a little bit easier to resolve that conflict.
Well, and you know how sometimes like when your kids are little, like you'll see their worst selves at home. Like they'll be perfect for grandma and grandpa or the teacher or your friends, but then they come home and they melt down. And I think with your spouse or somebody else you're really close to, sometimes we're our full selves, and we can't assume, and we can all do this, we can't assume that we're not for each other in that moment. We just see, so someone may have held it together at work or with the kids all day, and then they interact with their spouse at night. And so the shortness or the frustration comes out, and it's really not between the two of them. It's like the accumulation of all day of certain things happening. And it's like, I'm so comfortable with you, you get the worst. And so being intentional about like, nope, that's not okay, because I haven't even been with this person all day. How do I just be like, listen, I've had a rough day, I just need to be quiet for a little bit, or can I have a break, or whatever your stage of life is right now. And we're all in different ones. And so right now it's easy for us to process things. When the kids were little, it'd be like, we would have to wait till they go to bed. Or as they got a little older, we're like, let's go for a walk. We can have a conversation on a walk. And so anyway, I would just think open communication,
being for each other, and understanding that like your spouse, typically, hopefully, is for you, and having that thinking the best of that person first, instead of going into it, hearing one thing, assuming something, and thinking the worst of that person.
That's good. So hopefully there's a nugget out of here that, and more than likely, God's already speaking to you about the areas of conflict in your life. Yeah. Like the Holy Spirit, if you're a follower of Jesus, lives in each of us. And so there's probably something, hopefully, that we said that maybe triggered or reminded you of an area in your life that you need to spend a little more time talking to Jesus about, or your spouse, or somebody else in your relationship with. And so if anything, like we're laughing about it now, which normally we do afterwards, not always immediately, but hopefully this little silly story will help encourage you to continue to take steps in conflict. Steps in a healthy way.
Exactly. With your spouse, your in your relationships at work or whatever it is, and as you take steps with Jesus. So
So
anything else?
I don't think so. Okay. We'll maybe see you next week.
See you on the next one. If you've gotten any benefits from this, if you're stuck with it this far, give us a like, subscribe, share it on social media, all the good stuff that we want to tell you to do and ask you to do. And so,
and this is a real dog. Yeah. It looks like a set. Oh, there she is.
It is definitely Halloween time. So. She's not a Halloween problem.
She is always glued next to me, and we can't put her anywhere else. And so if you're wondering, she's old.
She is definitely old.
Right.
That's it. Attention. Yes. All right.
You can stop that part.
No. We'll see you in the next one. See you guys.